Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Headspace Podcast. And today we are going to be talking about Fat Joe and Dre's album, Family Ties, as we do the track by track full album review. And that's what we do over here on this very show. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And yeah, this is the official Behind That Suit, Fat Joe and Dre, Family Ties album review. All right, trying out that little goofiness this fine afternoon. Anyhow, this is who we are. We enjoy going through these projects, giving our thoughts and opinions and whatnot. But most importantly, we care what you have to think. So right off the jump, we want this to be more like a discussion. You hear us say some stuff, you feel a way, write that down in the comments. As an example, I like to read a favorite comment on last week's video. Last week, I talked about the absolutely wonderful album, What Would Sheen Do from Griselda Records, something I was personally waiting for a long time. And it came out, and it was awesome. And then on that, Jermaine Zimmerman drops, well, as I guess you know, Conway and Gunnar Brothers. I did know. Thanks, though, because I had maybe didn't mention it ever in the reviews. You probably know, but we're all from Buffalo, New York. So I thought it was cool that he was shouting out where he's from. Benny and Kesha Plum and Tiona Denise are also from Buffalo. Benny's part of Griselda. The other two were featured on the album. The album cover is a picture of a local beggar lady that's famous around the neighborhood we all grew up in. She's pretty well known around the city, too. And I really like that comment because I could not figure out who was on the cover. I Googled it, and I wasn't able to, find anything. And then he just kind of cracked the mystery through the comment section, and that's awesome to me, so I wanted to share that with you. But also, if you leave comments, it helps us get better at this, and that's the absolute truth of it. The comments have shaped this show. On that note, before we jump into it, special thanks to the patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks, and Mr. Newcomer, Scribble. On that note, Mr. Christopher, what album are we going to be reviewing today?
So for this week's Headspace Podcast, episode 149, we went with Fat Joe and Dre's new collaborative album, Family Ties.
So, I just want to say off the jump, the main reason we're talking about this is because the album has the Eminem song, and everybody, like 5 or 6 people in my life asked me what I thought about it, and so I figured I may as well we should talk about it. At first, I'll be completely honest with you, I thought it was like The Doctor, so I got kind of excited. I was like, "Ooh, it's Dr. Dre and Fat Joe. That's an interesting combination." And then it turns out to not be the same Dre. It's a different Dre.
It's just Dre.
But I think it's Cool and Dre? I can't remember. Yeah, he's from Cool and Dre, and so he's like another noteworthy musician, and not to take away at all from like his legacy and whatnot. It's just I was definitely in for a little bit of a shock as I started listening to the album and realized I should have Googled or something. And not to even say that we shouldn't have done it or anything, but just goes how assumptions can lead you astray sometimes. So either way, apparently Eminem's verse was supposed to be really good. I was like, all right, maybe this will be an album I could vibe to. I remember that we talked about Fat Joe's album Plateau au Ploma way back at the beginning, but most importantly for me, I happen to have gone digging in the crates, and if you catch my drift, you'll get that little line. But it allowed me to see a lot of like Fat Joe's early work where it's like sincerely apples and oranges between like the quality of output in terms of his skill, in my opinion, because like when you listen to his old stuff and then you come listen to this, you're like you'll see how I feel about Fat Joe on this project. Either way, Cool and Dre I've never really listened to, so it was kind of a new introduction for me on that point. And yeah, otherwise I don't have a lot more to comment to start this off, except that what I've said so far. And what about you?
Fat Joe is one of the artists that I enjoyed growing up just because he had this certain type of flair that I've always just really enjoyed. He was also like my kind of introduction to like the big boy rappers of the group, and I physically mean like the bigger, physically bigger dudes like him, Rick Ross, and all of them. That's kind of how I got into like those guys. But I've always known Fat Joe to be like, when I'm gonna listen to him, I know what I'm getting. I've never really expected anything less or anything super extravagant from Fat Joe, in my opinion. When I used to just, on all like Lean Back, All I Do Is Win, different songs that he's like featured on that I've heard, and you know, whatever. My expectations for this album are kind of just like, it's a Fat Joe album to me. Dre, I can't really talk anything about. I don't really know Dre as much as I guess I should. Never heard him rap or really done. That's not true, actually. He's on All I Do Is Win. He sings the chorus of All I Do Is Win. I was listening to that song recently, and I put his face 1 and 2 together. So, except for that track, don't really remember if I've heard much from him or whatnot. But for Fat Joe, I'm kind of like, it's gonna be some Fat Joe gangster shit, and it's kind of how I just started going into this album.
Well, especially with the damn cover, where it's just two fucking giant ass cars and they're reaching their hands out, just spilling all this champagne all over the fucking ground, excess for the sake of. I don't know. I've hit a point in my life where when I look at the extravagant excess of wealth, it frustrates me because I guess I don't have it, and I have to work like really fucking hard because older. I'm a millennial, and I'll be honest, when I look at house prices 15 years ago and 20 years ago and shit like that, and you consider the past and the opportunities in the today versus then, it's just like, shut the fuck up, Fat Joe and Dre. Nobody cares. But that's not true. A lot of people probably do care, but
I feel like
it's flossy. It's really extravagant. That's what they're putting out. But instantly, I had a bad taste about this album just looking at the cover. Like, oh, this is not what I philosophically am into at this point in my life. So it's hard for me to just vibe to it like that or look at that and find it appealing. It's just... But whatever. Title's alright. Family ties. We're connected. Okay.
Well, I think it's a little bit deeper than that because just kind of rummaging around social media and some interviews and some podcasts, this is apparently his last album. Like, he's retiring after this. So for me, with that little bit of tidbit of information, I'm kind of like, it sort of makes sense a little bit. You know, family ties, you're tying it all together. This is like the big thing. We're showing you, like, we're leaving off on a good note. We've worked hard. We've done what we had to do to get this far. We got the cars, we got the champagne, the money, the whatever. Like, I feel like it's just his kind of wrapping up his final thing with that tidbit of information.
Unreal, and maybe it's just me. The news Fat Joe is retiring elicits a zero emotional reaction. I don't know, maybe everyone coming here is like big Fat Joe fans, or maybe it was a weird choice to do this album. I don't know. But like, okay, fair enough. I don't know if you want to get into it.
I mean, we can definitely get into it. I have nothing much else to say. I really enjoy it.
Alright, the first one's called Projects. Yeah, so it's like I heard the Fat Joe intro, and it's like anything you want to let people know out there on some real street shit. Well, you ain't gotta hold your tongue. Nah, I mean, all the way up. What's the deal? All the way up. I don't know. I just remember him telling me how he moved out the hood in the last album and like completely left all that. Anyway, then you hear Forgive Me, I'm from the Projects. I'm like, who the fuck is that? That's when I Googled and realized it was a different Dre, and I was like, oh. Well, I'm committed. Chris has already reviewed this album. I gotta do it now. Because he had done it the night before.
I was done at 3 in the afternoon. I got this over with.
Anyway, so then, I don't know. What do you think about this?
Okay, so first off, I like Dre, how he comes in very smooth, fits really well with the beat, and kind of like has this little boppiness to his flow when he comes into the chorus. As Holden said, Forgive Me, I'm up from the Projects, and he kind of repeats that a couple times. Last line,
got a good flow, I'll give him that.
He goes, Forgive Me, I'm up from the Jex, which is really cool because I found the word Jex being an abbreviation for projects from Suicide Boys on one of their songs. So I thought that was actually a really cool, for me, that was just pretty cool.
I mean, I think T.I. in What You Know. Fresh off the jet to the jacks, what you know about that?
Shit.
What you know about that?
Oh shit, maybe I never caught that. But so far, everything kind of seems very just like, all right, we're forgiving you for being somebody from a specific spot. Okay. No apologies for my fresh behavior. No preachers. The church could save ya. Shots ring out. You get stretched and laid up. Streets got drugs, guns, and sex for sale. Sorry, I'm a person from the projects. Now, right away, I kind of get this, like, not in a way that they want you to feel bad for them, but to understand that they do come from a different life than whoever's listening to this, whoever they might encounter or whatnot, that they do come from a certain area where, you know, they have a certain behavior, people are getting killed. That's the whole get stretched and laid up part. People are getting killed, you know, streets got drugs, guns, and sex for sale. It's not like the happiest environment. It's not like the most safe environment. So they want you to understand coming into this album that, like, you have to keep this mindset that this is where we come from. So I thought it was cool. Setting up that little premise of the album was good. And then we got Fat Joe coming in. And you know what? There was nothing for me. I was like, hey, nice flow. Does the Fat Joe thing.
Hold up. That is a boring ass Fat Joe flow. I mean, this is what I want to comment on. For those who, like, know the last, like, the guy used to be like Big Pun, okay? Like, higgity, 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 you know, like, fucking fast pace, like, fucking vibing. Like, imagine this flow, and you just take the BPMs and you crank it up, and you add in a lot more rhyming.
Right.
And a lot more energy and a lot more flair. This, to me, sounds like a guy who really has nothing to prove. In a way that, like, Jay-Z comes off like on 444, like a guy who has nothing to prove, in a way where he just wants to, like, teach you some shit.
Right.
It's kind of like humble. This is like, okay, forgive me, I'm a Millie from the projects. Drip Team, Triple Bean, and the Pyrex. Suicide, it's a suicide. All these lights above my head. Why are you surprised? I mean, I get it. I get that it rhymes and everything, but, like...
But it's the fact...
I kind of want a guy who's been in the game for, like, 40 years or whatever, 35 years, to, like, blow my fucking mind.
So that's what I guess I'm trying to say, and that's a good point to what I'm trying to say when I started off the episode. This is what Fat Joe has always given me. You're not like lyrically.
So here's the thing.
Lyrically,
when we did like Plateau Ploma, I was like you know, I felt that way. But then like we went and did some Big Pun albums, but really it was all the DITC stuff, like his like 90s work and the whole like just how fresh he sounds on all those cuts, like how fucking good it was. Like, what the shit? Like, for real, when the album stopped playing, because I don't know, I had it on Spotify, and I had that the feature where like it just plays randomly something else,
like a radio, like
something related, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the beat gets fantastic. Fat Joe's energy's just killing it, and I go check, and it's like an old Fat Joe album from like way back, and I'm like, but like you gotta understand, we're talking like he went down a whole like weight class of skill. That's what it feels like listening to it now. It doesn't sound like he tried very hard either.
But
this
is where I'm confused.
Like, you remember the commentary of Plateau Ploma? It was mostly like it didn't sound like he tried hard. It just sounded like he came in, said some shit.
And this is where I'm confused though. I like the verse that he did on this. I like just kind of how he flows through, how he sounds, how he meshes with the beat and everything. But I don't give a fuck about the lyrics. This is literally everything I've been getting. Wait. But are you saying...
The flow sounds bored.
But that's what I'm asking. Are we separating...
Everything. All of it.
Okay.
In this case, the whole package, it sounds like Fat Joe phoned in this shit. Now, if this is supposed to be your retirement legacy album, and you're fucking Fat Joe, and you have this career, with like a career dip of like, it's almost like once upon a time he tried to impress people in terms of being a skilled MC, and then he got rich, and now he's just rich. And then let my bitch make your bitch look like Precious. You're a little too fat to be using those kinds of jokes, Mr. Fat Joe. I'm sorry. Like, if you're a big guy, shouldn't be insulting fat women is all I'm trying to say.
I did want to...
And then he doesn't trust no chick. If she's working at the club, then that's not your bitch. that was the smartest shit he said in the whole verse. And I thought it was cool. Except then I thought to myself, wow, you're an insecure fucker. Because if I was dating a stripper, and she loved me, I would just have the trust in her that she would go to the strip club, shake her ass for the cash, come home, and then we go buy whatever, and we'd have a great time. And you know what I don't believe she'd do is suck a dick. There's there's like layers to shit. And maybe Fat Joe is just a little insecure is what I got from that.
I mean, but that's...
And then all his people got Scarface tatted. And I'm like, you just sound old, homie. Anyway,
I do like the first couple of lines though, where he ends with "Forgive me, I'm a Millie from the projects," and then ends on "The lights above my head. Why you so surprised?" I just like how that was just kind of real for me. Like, just, forgive me, I'm a Millie from the projects. I've been making money before I was even famous. I'm a drug dealer, this, that, and next thing, whatever. Drip team, triple beam, and the Pyrex. So you all are swagged out. You got money.
But it literally could have been jacked, cut, copy, pasted from any other modern rapper's flow right now.
I'm not disagreeing.
And like that's actually like your Fat Joe, dog. You should maybe not sound like that. So boring like. I'm not. Here's the thing, man. Jump ahead to Dre. Forgive me, I'm out the projects from where they pick out all the NFL prospects. Instantly, you're like, that's...
Either you're rich or you're poor, a simple concept. So cooking up or toting a rocket was some progress.
But you know what you get from that?
Detail.
Like a real reflection. Like you could almost feel from that verse that he's reminiscing on that environment, but also the social commentary of the mindset really exemplifying on the chorus, tying it together. From Fat Joe, I get... I'm rich. You're shocked I'm rich. My girl is skinny. Your girl is fat. Because, I mean, Precious is a very attractive large lady.
Yes.
As far as large, like, if you're in. So, like, basically he's calling her fat, and that's the whole joke. I'm just saying.
But, like.
He doesn't come off very cool to me. Whereas Dre, honestly, like, but these days you gotta watch your post. Trying to speak truth over power, you get shot like Ghost. And Power's a good show. So, like, I kind of like the fact where he makes it feel fresh and modern, right? Mm-hmm. Sure, that line will get dated, but if you're gonna do some modern shit, do it right. Fuck it, I'm out the ghetto. Where all the else fails, you start hustling the Holy Ghost. You wanna be owners or an opponent. Anyway, I really just feel like...
I like how they use cocaine, how they called cocaine the Holy Ghost.
But doesn't it just come off smarter? Like, if you feel like Dre is at least trying on this album, like putting in some passion and shit. Like, I felt like Dre had something to say here, and I felt like Fat Joe phoned it in. So I'm giving this track a 4, because the beat was completely neutral to me. Like, it felt like exactly, kind of what the pop trend was a year ago. Like, it feels like this is the tail end of this sound, and it just feels like they're trying to be fresh rather than sticking to, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't really know that this is this the current pop sound? It kind of is, like, this doesn't feel new or fresh to me.
So here's where I'm gonna say, everything but Fat Joe does. That's the not to talk shit. Like, no, okay, so
be real.
Before y'all kill me in the comments.
No one's killing you in the comments.
Literally, to answer that question, this is kind of what new music sounds like a little bit. Like, this is your radio fucking play, mainstream. Yeah, Dre does well. The hook is catchy.
But like, I
like
feel
you sing
like
along to it, whatever. But Fat Joe doesn't really make it sound
you're
like
right,
it's...
because Dre sounds like a socially conscious person making some vibey, good R&B hybrid shit, and then Fat Joe. My notes are honestly Fat Joe stands out in a bad way.
Here's where I'm gonna try to save this.
Why
right?
are you trying to save it?
Because I have some things to say. I gave the song a 4.2.
I gave it a 4.
I like the flow of it. I like the sound. I like the hype. For me, I kind of took it as Fat Joe is the dude from the projects who really only cares about money. That is let's call it the character he is playing. That is who he is on this song. And Dre is playing this like social warrior type where he's acknowledging like this it's not just about me, it's about my community, my society, the people you pick for the NFL and everything like that.
If you ask anyone where I live, I point to the hills and go all the way up. I mean, he's a little far from the hood now. He's just kind of flexing.
Right, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying like I'm saying like his mentality, even if he's rich, his mentality is to keep making money.
Don't worry, I got some it's gonna get worse.
Either way, I enjoyed this. I thought it was a nice little way to start the album. I thought it was cool. I like just with the lines that he started off first, it was just real to me because, you know, suicide, it's a suicide. That's a reference to something I can't remember right now, and I looked it up and I forgot. But I like how he's implying like you have to sacrifice shit to get all these lights above my head. Why are you surprised? I committed suicide to get these lights. And that's something I kind of like really connected to. It was just like, you got to sacrifice some shit to get what you want. I kind of understand the whole no chick line. I wanted to comment on that as well. If your chick works in a club, I understand your whole point of view on him being insecure and whatnot. But I also kind of think like, given maybe his life and where he, like people he may have encountered and stuff like that, this is just not somebody, like if he finds out you work at a club or whatnot, he may not trust you just because of X experiences or whatnot.
No, what he's trying to say there is, how can you call her your girl if she works at a club? Like that's his point. I'm like, sure, okay, boomer. It's just an okay boomer comment because that's how it feels to me. Like, what's your point? Oh, your girl's a bit of a half-naked lady, therefore there's no trust. Like, I mean, sure, you can believe that shit, but that just tells me you're insecure and you don't know how to trust a feisty lady. Or you don't know how to treat a lady right. So, anyway, lots of commentary I could make on the insecurity I find in lyrics like that, personally. But okay, boomer is really what I really want to say to it. It's a good line. No, those kids came up with some dope shit. People hate on the kids are smart. It's a 4 on 5 because everything is alright. And then Fat Joe's like a 3.5, and the rest of the song's like a 4.25. So I'm bringing it to like a 4. Anyway, let's move on. There's still 10 more of these guys to talk about.
It feels like we've already been through this.
Yep. It just sounds like a year ago pop to me. Like, it doesn't sound like modern. It sounds like guys trying to be modern more than it. Like, I feel like they wanted to make an album that both the kids and the adults would like, and it misses the mark on my heart. So what do you... Okay, compared to last year to this year, what is different? This sounds like literally everything I hear on the radio. Except that those guys are all like 20 and have energy.
I mean, sure, but the flow, like, the style, the whole like poppiness to it.
Maybe I'm just
the simplicity,
biased and shit, but I feel like just the sounds, the beats and everything, like, I don't feel like this sounds like a lot of the fresh ass polished pop I'm hearing lately.
I agree that maybe there is an element of like a little bit old school boom boppy feel to a lot of Fat Joe's instrumentals that he uses and he picks.
I don't know, it just feels stale to me.
I don't know what you mean by stale.
Like, it feels like this was recorded a while ago and finally came out, as opposed to it was made like a month ago. And it was really like on point with like a certain style of pop and shit. But then a bunch of other stuff's come out, like Griselda and things that have kind of like, or you have like the alternative side, like the Flatbush Zombies, and New York's got all its lyrical resurgences. I'm like, all this shit's happening, and then this comes out feeling like some like 2017, not necessarily terrible, like, because Dre brings in this like R&B element. You know, and
I wanted to hold out on the Griselda discussion, but you brought it up. Somewhere in this album review, I connected Fat Joe's appearance and the way he presents his self and lyrics and all this stuff to what we've been getting from Griselda. Now, I'm not saying that they're like the same and all this shit.
But 30 years ago, Fat Joe is a fucking wilding out gangster pulling guns and shit.
And what I said was,
now he's really fucking wealthy.
I like listening to Conway, Westside, and Benny because they all give me a certain flair to what they do. Conway's got this really gangster boss mentality that I feel Fat Joe tries to have, but Conway just presents it in a way that is more like, it's just damn, like, okay. And then we get the lavish stuff which Fat
So,
Joe
like,
likes.
don't get me wrong.
Hold up. We get the lavish stuff, but now I'm like, okay, but I like West Side with the lavish stuff. The way he throws in all these brands and designers and makes them all
Here's
pop.
the thing. Those guys are better lyricists. So, like, it actually comes off like bars. It comes off like fresh and shit. And I think that lyricism and on an instrumental side, I'm just saying, like, you feel that this beat sounds like a fresh beat to you. And I might be wrong. Maybe I'm not listening to enough
and I hate doing this, but again, what do you mean by a fresh
Like-
beat? Because if we look at 2018 and 2019, every fucking radio song that played on like Mix 96, the beat, whatever you want to consider.
Talking about hip hop.
But that's pop music. No, like hip hop is basically pop music right now. So any hip hop mainstream pop song sounds like this. This type of thing, this type of chorus, any fucking Post Malone.
I feel like their shit just sounds like more like minimalist or different. Like it doesn't, like there's a tone to it that feels different. Like of the times where all the pop kind of has like a tone shift going on to it.
So again, I'm gonna look at I'm taking like local radio stations.
And Post Malone is like a year old now in terms of hits. Like shit
Right,
dropped like
but
a while
Posty's
ago.
last album that he just did,
Which is when?
Recently in 2019. He just
But,
had
like,
a concert
early,
and a
no?
bunch of shit. Well, he just had a concert and a bunch of shit. Anyway, all his new stuff, it's not bad. Like it sound like he's got country-esque sounds to it and shit too, but it has this like poppy-est feel to it. Now again, I also want to make this distinction for the viewers and the listeners who are checking this right now, but I'm talking local radio station. I'm not talking like XM or fucking Sirius or anything like that, because if you listen to that,
Let's look at it differently.
But I'm just saying, like, if you listen to those radio stations, like Sirius and all them, they're giving you Little Uzis, 21s, and Eminems and all
I feel
this
like
shit.
when I listen to those guys, they kind of stand out a little bit.
But I wouldn't. Okay, so I wouldn't consider
or like the beat makers all have like these sounds to it.
For example, I wouldn't consider Little Uzi 21 Savage as like mainstream if we're talking local radio. If we're talking like that section.
When you say local radio and then you say Sirius, those aren't the two same things.
But that's my point.
Montreal has like no hip hop local radio station. We don't have a hip hop station.
This doesn't sound hip hoppy. This sounds radio-y. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Even then, like when I do hear radio shit, it's all like techno singy. That would be the sounds of the radio that I hear. Techno, singing, and then the Cardi B song on this album, I'll give it to you. That has, because there's certain ones on here that I feel like really stand out in a way that are good. Because don't get me wrong, I actually like a few songs on this album, in case you were curious. But like this one also just sounds like some generic ass like flowy crap. I mean, Dre sounds aight. You know, back when it was Diesel on the block, I would flash a heat alley-oop on the Glock. Told him if I tried to disrespect the set, leave a hole in him big enough to fill Shaquille's socks.
So you know what it is? And I said this on the last track. It's Dre is more descriptive. You had back when it was Diesel in the Flash. What we was on them woods sitting next to Pat. Well, I don't know who the fuck Pat is, but the fact that you have that person, it gives you that like personal feeling. Not
but
like
then it's like, ask me what I've been through. I've been through a lot. Ask me what I've been through. I've been through a drought. You know, I actually lyrically like the tone he's taking here, and it feels like there is that progression that you were describing of from the bottom to the here.
Right.
But the way that Dre does it, okay, there's some appealing to it, you know. And then Shorty thought I played power forward for the Heat. The way I parked the double R where the players parking at, I bought it in cash. I bought it at ass. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. No, the pussy ain't for free. Throw in a watch and paper tags. Okay,
I like
whatever.
that line.
Anyway, so he bangs a girl and he spends money on her and whatever.
But I like how. So for me, I kind of like.
I kind of got really bored with it. I mean, it sounds all right, but it's extremely boring to me because it's not like interesting sex bars. It's just.
No, but it's the little.
It's like every time we do this,
every
time we do this type of sound, whatever. Every time, like all of them, I hate doing these reviews because it's like there's nothing to fucking talk about here.
This is just
great. Boring ass crap.
This is how I feel on some of the reviews that we do, and I'm like,
except those ones have English to back up why the bars are dope.
Okay, fair. But So again,
Maybe I'm
no, the pussy
too
ain't
smart
free.
for this shit. I like to think about the lyrics I hear.
No, the pussy ain't for free. Throw in a watch and paper tags. I like when he says that because it's part of what he's been through, and he's kind of like just saying like, yo, nothing ain't for free. Even if this girl is like, I like you, I want to do this and X, Y, Z. Just know you're buying her dinner, you're buying her this, you're buying her that. It's like I like how he's kind of just keeping in mind like you got to look at all aspects of things. That was something cool to me. But I will have to...
I'll give it to you. That was the deepest shit that we're going to get out of his verse. And you know what? I appreciate that he's honest about how this prostitution shit works in his life with the gold diggers. And then Fat Joe.
Oh, I did. The way I parked the double R where the player's parking at the Range Rover. Hey! Sorry, I got excited. I figured out what the double R meant.
But like...
Range Rover.
Okay, there's nothing deep to it. It's just superficial crap.
No, right, but like that's cool though. Like that's cool. Yo,
do you know why this?
The double
here's what it is. Man, go. We're gonna get you to do some 90s.
Oh, it's the Rolls Royce.
No, fuck off. I thought you understood that when you said double R.
No, I said Range Rover. I thought it was cooler.
Oh, you said I was. Yeah, Rolls Royce. It's a much cooler car.
Fat Joe's verse is weak though.
Ask me what I've been through. I've been getting shot. Okay.
Flipped a couple bricks. Yeah, I've been ducking cops.
All right, you're past. I understand. Henny lit live on Sunday. Pull up in a drop. Kiki's on a favor. Yeah, we pulled up on a yacht. We're in the present now where he's rich.
This ain't really Gucci. This that Dapper Dan Gucci. What?
Well, Dapper Dan's a famous suit maker.
I know who Dapper Dan is.
He's saying that his shit is the real Gucci because it's Dapper Dan, unlike your Gucci, because it's Gucci is actually a thing, making it a quasi-clever bar, again, kind of shouting out.
Like it's Gucci, like we Gucci, like we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. 'Cause, I mean, I speak like that.
Molly Percocets got the Xannies and the roofies. What the fuck are you going
Yo,
on
he's
about?
Following Ricky. He's following Rick Ross.
Percocet, Molly Percocet. So I got the Future, you ripped off Future bars, and then got the Xannies and roofies. You're like, how old, Fat Joe? Let's look at this up. I should know this. I should have checked this beforehand. Fat Joe age on Google. 49 years old. What the fuck are you doing with roofies?
Living his best life.
Roofies.
Living his best life.
The date rape drug.
Living his best life.
I swear, if you're as rich as you are, you shouldn't need roofies.
I mean, we say that, but then I ask why Rick Ross had to fucking put Molly all in her champagne if he's that rich.
I wasn't criticizing the Molly, the Percocets, or the Xannies. Those are all, I mean, whatever you may feel, understandable and more frequent party favors that may get a lady feeling a little loose with her friends. I get it. Roofies? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's where...
The fact that they ad-libbed roofies is fucked.
But it's like... This
validation.
This is where you're like not even really... I don't even believe you. Like, what are you saying? Are you... And you really do that? You put that on in the Me Too era? In 2019? Are you fucking dumb? That's what I'm hearing right now. Fat Joe is not the smartest tool in the shed. I mean, listen, he's way richer than me. And I'm not jealous of that. Because, man, he's using roofies and shit. And if I have to go use roofies to get girls while I'm that rich, that's not the version of it I want. That's
we
all
don't
I'm trying to
condone
say.
any of this. I'm making that clear for anybody who wants to, like, clip this shit.
I mean, if you go watch this clip and think that in me making fun of Fat Joe from rapping about having roofies and shit is because condoning it, I mean, go for it. I would think it's obvious, but then I would give myself a lecture about how nothing's obvious on the internet. Anyway, I did like when he goes, where bitches selling more pussy than a chicken sandwich.
Why?
Because the chicken sandwiches is really hot and motherfuckers is dying over fucking sandwiches in the States. And poppin' Plan B is making babies vanish. And I thought, like, that was a kind of interesting line. So I did make fun of a whole bunch of shit. And maybe this is all meant to be like a commentary on the hood, and the hood has roofies, but it didn't come off like that to me. I just think that the last line where it's like women use Plan B to kill off babies and whatever was like an interesting thing to bring up. But I don't know, man. And then people ratting on their moms. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do with these verses. It feels like...
So, again, you keep in mind, right? This is things that he's been through. So, like, he's been through... You know, women selling pussy, and then popping Plan Bs. Probably he had to like,
So
shorty, get a Plan B
so
now.
I do feel like we are flipping back and forth between him reminiscing, such as when he was getting shot and with the Plan Bs, and the drugs seem to be a more central to today and now. You know, people say they dons, but they really not the don. Is also one of the worst lyrics. Because sometimes when you do that shit, it sounds fucking cool. That didn't sound fucking cool.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like supposed to be that wordplay, right? So it's like homies say they dons, but they really not the don. More like Nicky Barnes and
but
people ratting on their mom.
what's the wordplay and people say they're the don, but they not the don.
Like syllable play and all that.
But it's really whack syllable play is what I'm trying to say. It's not great. It's whack. Anyway, 4.15 because Dre's pretty dope. The beat's all right.
I gave it a 4.
Anyway, let's talk about Heaven and Hell. I would say the second half of this beat is the most modern thing I've heard on this album.
I hate this.
This is the best song I've heard so far. This is such a good song.
I hate this.
Nah, for real, I'm feeling it right off the jump, man.
I don't like the chorus.
I feel like they're popping out with this power, you know, open up shop, work round the clock, first class services, lines down the block. Woof, I'm feeling that energy coming through. I'm a sucker for the back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
I storm in glasses, my VIP friends got priority passes. I'm morally asked this question, what do you believe in, heaven or hell? And I think it's interesting that after framing the last two tracks with the kind of life they live, both the glamour and maybe some of the danger that comes with it, you know, just the idea of selling drugs and being in that situation where your VIP fiends got priority passes. That means that like the people that come through the most, you know, get, you know, like that's the level of distribution you have, that you have tiers of the fiends that come off of your shit. And I was like, this is the freshest shit I heard. And then that beat, that old school sample-y shit, I'm like, it samples After Laughter by Wendy Renee, I don't know. And I was like, this is just really good. This is what these guys should be on the whole time, in my opinion. And then, you know, they come in with the verse where, well, I guess the chorus thing at the beginning kind of feels like a verse, and then Dre goes 12 rushing, through a bust, and ain't banging on shit. I was in the studio too busy sampling your bitch. I thought that was a great...
No, that's verse 2.
What's verse 1?
Verse 1
Oh,
is
shit.
Fat Joe
You're right.
and
I
Dre
skipped
going
verse
back
1.
and forth.
I
don't like verse 1.
It was
fucking
great.
I like the back and forth. I do enjoy when rappers do it properly and they really sound nice. I just don't. This is boring as fuck. But the whole first part.
So back when Bobby bounced fucking bitches in his trailer, we're throwing it back, and then Dre's, I got the bitches begging, don't be cruel to me, player, because he's back there, you know, macking out. I had the fiends going, woo, that Ric Flair. I appreciated that. And then Hustlers, Hazing Heroin, Triple H around here. So that's a cool line for a couple of reasons. First of all, Ric Flair and Triple H, wrestling bars. Hustlers, Hazing Heroin, alliteration bars. Triple H, it's actually pretty good. Like, I thought that was pretty dope. We Fendi fronting the fort that way. Again, more alliteration sounds fucking dope. That alliteration, that kind of compounding words like that, that's that shit from that DITC era that I was kind of really feeling. So I feel like this just kind of, like they're trying a little harder here. Just
DITC stuff
digging into crates. Anyway, Christian Louboutin's killing them. No, yeah, whatever. Bad vibes when we see you. And I take that, you pussy, and whatever. I'm not saying this is like the craziest shit in the world, but I like the fact that you got lines like Crown Heavier than Slick Rick Chains. Oh wait, they dropping names. I warned him. He was listening to Coca. Them Weight Watchers. Now I ain't talking about Oprah. And it just feels pretty cool. I just feel like it has this energy. And then the chorus comes in, and then it does the fucking flip up, where it just gets like hard, and it just kicks in with this crazy, like I just wasn't expecting it. I had to go check, did the song change? The song didn't change, and it just fucking flowed. And then Dre comes through with the bustin' sampling Yo Bitch, which I thought was just great, because that's like a powerful move. Like, oh, you think she fly? I'm gonna go take her voice and make some money on that shit. Quit hitting my line with all that rambling shit. He talking through the wire. This ain't Conway, you bitch. And I thought that was a freaking great line, because
this was a whole scenario.
Still, I like the bars, the writing, because as in Kanye or cocaine, all through the wire over the phone. Bad news bears. This ain't Kanye. playing up on that. This is strictly for my peoples, like Tupac in this shit. Another great line, like I'm resurrected in this, which plays up again to Tupac with the album Resurrection and whatnot. I'm fresh to death in this bitch. She way impressed with this shit. I'm well invested in this. I just like the way you rapped it all over that beat. I just thought it was like A plus freshness. Plus it was like going. So you had the first verse reflecting like the absolute old school, with the old school sampley driven ass shit, etc. Flipped up into the more modern freshness to be who they are today. And I think this might be one of the most artistic and clever shits that we're gonna get on this album, and I really liked it. Fat Joe is alright. He says stuff on the second thing, and it's alright. It is just, I mean, whatever. 4.5 on 5. This track is fire.
3.7 on 5. I do like the second half.
What is this?
I like the second half. I do like Dre's verse. I like how Dre's kind of breaking down the scenario of how the cops are busting in through the door, knocking over shit. He was in the studio while this was all happening, and he was like with some other guy's girl. Like, I really enjoyed Dre's imagery and depiction of things when he writes. It's really like descriptive, and it's really, really cool. Fat Joe did okay.
It just doesn't sound like Fat Joe's got a lot more to say no more.
Doesn't sound like he really gives a anymore. 3.7 on 5.
All right, I think we can continue moving on through our journey, through our family ties journey. And Chris, I'm gonna put my hands on you. I listened to this song like 5 times in a row, and I came to the conclusion that it's an extremely well-made song I have virtually no interest in. Because, man, they just kept... I got to the end, and I'm like, did Fat Joe have a verse? And then I saw on Genius he did, and I decided to listen to it again. And it's just like he says stuff, and I don't care. Like, I got free liquor. I don't care. Gold bottles, we toast because we richer. Fuck you. You know, spread some wealth to the poor people.
This is the song where they're going to treat the women nice if you follow along and do what they do.
Bella Habib can't be. She's hot though. I'll give him that. Can't be thicker. She's the baddest. Believe you me, person. I'm one of the goats. You may have been, and then you did a lot with your career where I would say you're not one of the goats. Even if you got a Grammy nom, that doesn't mean shit in 2017. Fat Joe. 3 features on your track, or 2 feet. Anyway. I don't know. His whole rest of his verse is fine. It's okay. I don't think that it's like bad. I don't think there's a whole lot I could make fun of. It's just kind of boring, like Goodfella. When he speaks, they all listen. Set this roof on fire. Watch this motherfucker burn. Clever. Never heard that one before, Fat Joe. Last time with punch rhyme, but this time I brought the urn. To whom it's concerned. Anyway. Moving on, Jeremih, he's here, and he sings and he croons and he does his thing, and like it's like he's got one of those voices I find that blends into all the other guys who sound like him, and it makes me really, but it makes me appreciate him, because you know what, Ty just sounds better than all the other versions of him.
You almost went in, you're like, no, Ty.
No, because Jeremih's fine. I'm not an R&B guy. It really isn't my cup of tea, and so it's fine. I know a lot of y'all want to fuck the shit that sounds like this. I want to fuck the shit that sounds like punk music. So, like, we're just on different wavelengths on that front, you know? I want some, like, fucking Ice Cube or something playing when I'm doing my dirt. You know, I don't want no fucking lovey-dovey. It's just not really what gets me going. Bryson Tiller sounds generic, but like he's all right. Like, again, these guys don't,
because hold on,
like, it's not my cup of tea, so it just all sounds like it blends
I'm just
together.
trying to picture like Ice Cube.
You could do it, put your back into it. I could do it, put your boom. You know, just fucking smash.
That's
it
I know. So
or, like fuck. Anyway,
because I'm thinking like, you take like no Vaseline and try to go fuck your girl.
I was thinking more like, if you fucked up, turn your cups up.
Okay.
Ice Cube and
okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
All I'm trying to say is there's a lot of crunk shit going on. Some fucking bugs.
I see you. All right.
But I want that like that shit that you're bouncing like that. Like, if you don't feel like you gotta move your arms
while you're thrusting.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, like that. That's what's up. That probably didn't translate well to the audio versions of this. That's fine. You should go check it out on youtube.com/behindthatsuit.
Bryson Tiller does a nice job in the whole like R&B, sing, rappy.
Yeah,
feel
there's
to
nothing
it.
that got said in that verse that I thought was interesting.
No, there is nothing.
Then there's a chorus thing.
Do you think that Bryson Tiller means Range Rover with his double R? That's dog
I don't
shit?
care, Chris.
I do. I want somebody to run
I think
a Range
everybody
Rover.
means Range Rover now, because why would you go for a no, Rolls Royce. Everybody meant Rolls Royce. Okay? You just say Range Rover when you mean Range Rover. You say double R when you're trying to floss. Look, the guy I work for, there's a Rolls Royce every fucking day at work that shows up, okay?
You're gonna roll up and call it a double R?
You see that double R on the logo and you know why they say double R. Okay, when you look at the logo, yeah, that's what's up. Anyway, and then Dre does his singy crap. I do like when he goes, I tell her less while you tell her theories. Because that's showing, again, he's got some wisdom in his shit. And I want to give Dre his credit. He sounds smart. Unlike whatever. Still generic a bit, but at least he's giving some wisdom and shit. Don't run your mouth and get yourself in troubles and shit. You can run your mouth on podcasts because it's the whole fucking point. But, like, you gotta still be a little tactful with it. And let my actions speak, like, hey Siri. I thought that was clever, playing up on how, you know, the modern world's going in. Thank goodness I don't have an Apple phone at the moment. It's still Dre minus Snoop Dogg, and I'm like, that's fucking clever, right? Because still the DRE has Snoop Dogg on it. It was written by Snoop Dogg, and then he does that, and I'm like, oh shit, I kill a pussy, murder was the case, like Snoop Doggy, and I'm like, no shit, that is a good fucking series of bars showing off hip-hop history in a clever way. Hats off to you, Dre, in the middle of this extremely boring fucking song. And then, you know, he kind of loses me again, so
I'm fucking dying.
and that would be it. This one is absolutely a fucking 4, and I'll never listen to it again because it has nothing in it for a guy like me. What?
Fuck.
You like it? You enjoy it?
I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
And I can't defend it only because I just sat here and watched you rip it apart.
Well, you can defend it. You give it a 4.5. You have strong
It-
convictions of joy in your heart for it.
So, I like the feel of the song. I like where it kind of took me a little bit when I was listening to it. Maybe I was like in my own little vibe, my own little mood. And I guess that's why I really kind of just at that moment was like, oh my God, this is so great. But I like it. I don't know why I plussed it on Spotify. I hearted it on Spotify. It's in my routine now. Like, it's just nice to listen to that I don't have to focus. I don't have to really sit there and be like, oh, okay, he's saying this, and I really like that, and tick it, and blah, blah. It's like I could just put it on, have a nice little R&B feel, nice little jazzy, smooth type of kind of going at it, and that's really it. But I ain't changing my grade. It's 4.5. That's what I wrote down.
You have every right to like a song I think is shit. I still think this song is not good. I do think Dre gives it some redeeming qualities. Either way, I don't think these guys are going to call me their day ones.
I'll give it to you. This is where I went, all right, these are old people trying to be young. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck is Fat Joe calling anybody a day one? Like, that's just my whole thing. He can say what he wants. He can do what he wants. He got money. He's powerful. Fine. Fuck you.
Well,
but
it's because...
why are you using the term day ones? That's like so far from what I want to hear you say and try to imply. Granted, I understand.
I heard Dre say it a lot. I don't know that I heard Fat Joe say it. Oh, he did. He said, you was my day one. I mean the May one. Loyal tatted on your arm, but you ain't one.
My point is, you could have made a better song for the you can't trust nobody, not even your best friends. Not even the ones who say they've been with you. There has been a fuck ton of music that has come out in 2019 that has done this exact topic way better. I don't know. I don't know. I like the outro of this because I did give this song a 4.2. I did like the outro, the way that Bank DTE kind of breaks down this mentality of like being a snitch and like you're trying to live up to this like gangster life, and if you snitch, that all gets taken away because you no longer are like really by the code. And it's just it kind of was like,
that was the greatest part of this song. Actually,
That's it.
that is the reason the song gets a 4.15 for me, because it was really interesting to me, like really interesting how they were to like lay down that code shit in that way and kind of point out that it's really bad for your legacy. Like you shouldn't just go be a gangster and then, you know, rap. Like all of that was
So then I ask
smart.
you this question, right? Like just side question. What about the people who like rap, who snitch on themselves in their own music? Does that fall into that category too?
Well, I would say
Like
that
snitching is snitching, no matter what happens.
if you're past the statute of limitations on your crime, go fucking balls to the walls on that shit, because you're not really snitching no more. But if you start saying names about other people and circumstances that snitch out a situation, then how are you not a snitch?
Makes sense.
I mean, that's just my thoughts. What the fuck do I know? I'm not a gangster like that.
Anyway, I don't have much to say about this track, honestly. Just because it was kind of boring to me overall. This was cool. So Fat Joe goes, the IRS is in my books. Accountant told me to chill. Percy caught a murder case. Guess who's footing the bill? Pistol caught 3 attempts. Guess who's footing the bill? Now homies get to question me like who's real. I was locked up. You was trapping my accounts. I like how he's kind of bringing up the fact of unless there's money involved, nobody's really going to be real with you. Like, his accountant is telling him to chill because he pays his accountant and the accountant wants to continue making money. So he's kind of like, yo, homie, my job is to make sure the IRS don't be catching you on what you're doing. His other homies, apparently he had to cover them and do this stuff. Now, I kind of like how, like, Fat Joe has this idea of, like, loyalty and, you know, you're my fams, you're my boy, you're my homie, I gotta look out for you and all this shit, which is cool. I live by a lot of those type of morals and whatnot. I like how he addresses, you know, you got the loyal tatted on your arm, but you ain't really loyal and all this stuff. It's cool, but like it doesn't have this certain flair. He doesn't feel disconnected. He doesn't feel like no emotion in this. It's just like
Fat Joe sounds like he's doing the same shit on 11 of like the 12 songs. There was one song where I thought he sounded different, but otherwise he's coming in like I do my one flow. You know, for real though, it's the same flow on Plato Oploma. It's the same flow that Chris was expecting because it's the same fucking flow regardless. Like,
so I like when
the IRS is in my books account and told me to chill. Like, fuck off, man. I'm not saying it to be rude. It's just this is meant to be again like some kind of like reminiscent soft song.
Right.
I don't feel that Fat Joe is adapting here.
I like when Dre turned around and goes, you like not the one you stood beside when when it was war. I'm like, I tried to tell you, stay the fuck away from boy. I hope you stashed away some cash and royalties. Change is cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees. Stick to the rules, homie. That's how it goes, because this business ain't personal.
So what's Dre doing? He's again giving intelligence, wisdom, and smarts, using his experience through this life to educate some people via some generic sounding, but while being cool bars. Because I can't hate that shit. I respect it. I think the way he sounds, okay, I could live without it. I think the beat on his song does not really engage me, but I feel like Dre manages to make the song, but like from the perspective of like, I tried, man, but you didn't want to listen and there's some consequences, so please people pay attention to this. Fat Joe is like my accountant, you know, whatever you said about that, like, you know, girl that wasn't trustworthy, people maybe weren't cool, government's watching me, where's the advice, where's the you're a 49-year-old man showing people what's up, all up on my CNN trying to say Puerto Rico. That's fair. I gotta give him credit. He really does do some cool shit like that, and I don't want to take away from like the actual Fat Joe. I want to criticize the lack of bars like all up on CNN trying to say Puerto Rico. Where's that type of shit on the rest of this album, right? I've had a couple of it. It's not really there. Anyway, it's fine. And then it's fine. I'm giving this a 4.15. I don't have more to say. It's not the greatest track.
I gave it a 4.2.
All right, the next track's called Yes or C. For the sake of brevity, I'm just going to say Fat Joe did the Fat Joe thing when he's fucking boring and I don't have a lot to say. Because honestly, there's fucking nothing in his verse that's, like, in my opinion, worth wasting time on. He's just whatever. The chorus is also pretty trash. Ass up, face down. Yes, ass up, face down. Ass up, fuck out of here. At least make it fun. At least make it sexy. Like,
This is Lean Back 2.0.
yeah, but Lean Back was a fly song.
This beat is the same beat, just
Maybe.
hyped up.
Fair enough. I don't really know about that.
I looked at both. I listened to both. I played them back to back. The
Anyway.
moment it even started, it had the dun dun. It had the whole thing.
Fine.
This was just like
Either way, this samples Agua Nil by Willie Colon and Hector Lavoie, and you just hear it throughout the whole song, just playing through that sample. Anyway, Fat Joe ruins this song again. The video, though, is pretty fun because, you know, girls shaking asses is always an attractive
get
thing.
to watch Cardi.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Fashion Nova sponsored the video and gave one of the girls Fashion Nova booty shorts to shake her ass in, making us all see that Fashion Nova supports hip-hop. Very clever, whoever runs the community management at Fashion Nova. They have a really loyal following, and if your day job is like mine and social media and shit like that's important to you, then you should follow Fashion Nova for their, like, good game like that. Terrible fucking shit in general, because all of that mail order cheap clothing is not good for the planet and crap, but anyway, Old Navy's where I'm at. Old Navy shit lasts forever. Anyway, Cardi comes in, and it's not that Cardi says anything truly profound. It's that Cardi has fucking delivery. A lot of people want to talk a lot of shit about Cardi B all the fucking time because whatever, maybe she has ghostwriters, maybe her lyrics are kind of on the more generic side of things, but like, in the way that Tech 9 does the fast flows to a point where he can be generic with it because he is like the greatest at the fast flows, and like the rest of us are trying to be Tech 9 anytime we drop a fast flow. Cardi has this swag in her pop lady delivery vocals where there's not many people who can probably deliver the amount of attitude in every bar that she gives, and people really shortchange the delivery side of Cardi B, and you hear it in this track. She manages to do something like take a song that Fat Joe has made me fall asleep on and bring some life into it, where all of a sudden I see the potential in what this beat was. I see it. Fat Joe was like, bleh. And the video is like, whatever. I really, look, Pornhub is a great site for when I need to watch some booty shaking on dicks. This video did nothing for me. That's all I'm trying to say. Pornhub is a Montreal-owned company, so we got to give some local love.
I'm a dude who used to write their scripts.
I work with a guy who used to write their scripts. Anyway, at the end of the day, her verse is fine. I don't know. And then Spanish verse comes in, and it references Plato o Plomo, which I know is letter silver.
I've translated it cheaply on Google. I don't know if like it was completely accurate, but it's a generic Fat Joe verse just in Spanish. Literally says nothing profound.
I like it because it's in Spanish, so it can say nothing, but I like it because I'm biased towards thinking Spanish sounds cool. I felt that this song overall does have like a decent energy, but like, man, it's like, this is something where if you said it sounded modern and whatever, I'd agree. I could see how this comes in. But even then, the sample still feels like overused. It feels like every trick they're pulling is something I've absolutely heard somebody else pull. And that's what the staleness is that they're not understanding the trends per se and dropping innovations. They're getting a Cardi B sounding beat and getting Cardi B like everyone else did, including Maroon 5. You know, like, that's why I'm like, I don't know. So I give this another 4. It's whatever.
I gave it a 4 on 5 because it literally just checks off all the boxes to be a radio banger. That's really all it is. I don't really know why. I don't really care for Cardi personally, so I don't really know why she's
Love
there.
her delivery.
I like Anuel AA. He did well in terms of like flow, delivery, and all that stuff. And this is when Fat Joe started. I went, oh, so this is Lean Back 2.0. All right. So there was the Lean Back, the remix, and now this is just the 2.0 of the remix and everything. Okay, cool. Next.
I just don't really agree 100% on that because I listen to Lean Back a whole bunch and that song's pretty fire. But that's okay. Want to talk about Remy Ma? We can talk about Remy Ma. She wants her pussy eaten. It's the big splash. I feel like, again, we're in the realms of that, like, modern-esque sound, but, like, everybody sounds old on it. And that's okay. This one, it doesn't capture me any more than the last few. You got your little intro. That's fine. Then Dre comes in. I'm going to give you real talk. Had to cut a couple bitches out this year. I'm only trying to get paid. I made a resolution that 100 milli is the goal. If I don't get it, then I'm motherfucking lost. Now, again, he's dropping some knowledge that I can respect in those bars because he's being like, yo, set your goals high. And honestly, don't compromise on it. You either hit the goal or you lost. And I try to live my life like that. So to see wisdom like that, again, I appreciate it. I like when he goes, do you look like the person, do you look like that in person like you do up on the gram on vacay? Girls, trips, pictures in the sand. And I appreciate that because my dude consistently telling me about his Tinder experiences where like the girls is photoshopped to a point where they show up and they don't really look like how they look in Tinderland. And so I guess that's also grounded in reality and asking some valid questions.
Like some like general knowledge you should just keep. Like if you're gonna just online date, just assume nobody looks like what they look like online.
That's the stupidest shit ever. I'm too old to believe that that's a real thing still, but that's the dumbest shit. I don't use filters. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't use filters. If people want to look all fake and shit and they want to come on and be like fake and shit, I'm going to tell them they look fake and shit. And if I don't get laid because of that, fine. That's why I have a girlfriend, and I'm very grateful that I don't have to worry about that shit right now. Anyway, got a condo full of condoms and a California king. I thought that was a pretty great sound. Like just the roll of it, the way he did it.
Condo full of condoms and a California
It just sounds
king.
great. The chorus is fine, but, you know, I like when he goes, it's a marathon, yeah, I'm living proof. You know, lapping these people in a game, it ain't a race, it's a marathon, yeah, I'm living proof. Because, again, it's that general attitude and the way his life is. He's been around for so fucking long, and he's still at it. I get where he's coming from.
Shout out the marathon. I feel like ever since he dropped the marathon,
yes,
like that whole concept, everybody's been like bringing that up.
Also, like, I wrote that into a song myself, you know. It's not the whatever, I can't remember the exact word, but I basically ripped it off myself because it's like an SEO concept. It's a concept of all sorts of granular brand building, and like Nipsey popularized it in certain communities right now, but I mean I've been hearing people say that shit like my entire working life. So yes, to me it's a general philosophy for like great long-term success as opposed to virality and whatnot. Anyway, that's it. Then Remy was fun, but she kind of took that I'm a lady and you gonna fucking pleasure me tone, and I love hearing it, but that's about all I got from her verse, you know. I kind of like it. Eat the pussy, don't talk, learn to swim before you drown, you gotta crawl before you walk, huh? I'm gonna take a person downtown, breathe in, breathe out, yeah, then I'm gonna let it
I like that. I like that Nelly and Ali song. I had to go find it.
That's fine, but it's not like absolutely like next level. It's just kind of, it sounds nicer than what we heard before, and I kind of would rather listen to Remy Ma tell me to eat her pussy than hearing Fat Joe talk about other shit.
But, like, it kind of feels, at this moment now, even when I was doing this review at my house, kind of feels like y'all are just rich and expecting us to like what you're saying.
Because that's what it used to be. That is what a lot of their shit came in. That is what they did in the era when they all fucking rose up. Now it's just a bad look because most of us aren't rich, and it's a lot harder to get rich than ever before. Anyway, so then Fat Joe comes through. He's got pills in his rolls, doing coastals. We might do the Malfi. Everybody knows Rap's Young Gotti. I'm like, wait a second. Let's talk about Gotti. So yeah, Gotti won, though, the dad, who basically went ahead and brought the entire secrecy of the mafia to mainstream light through his love of paparazzi, media attention, and glamorizing the mob for the sake of whatever, which I actually got really into watching interviews of ex-mafiosa, because all these ex-mafiosos, guys who are out of jail,
dropping shit.
Well, they just do media runs where they talk to people about how all the mob bosses and shit are like little snitchy fuckfaces. Guys like John Gotti are perceived as snitches, not really respected. So I just thought it was funny. And then I believe the son snitched, like, right, and like reduced the sentence or whatnot. Or if not, then they're all like John Gotti's son and John Gotti's bodyguard are publicly beefing on Facebook, like 15-year-olds, snitching up a storm, writing books, like that. It just shows how dated the bars are. Like, Gotti is not really cool anymore if you're actually following what's up in current mafia trends. And if you're not, go look at the drama of ex-mafia guys doing interviews. This shit is fire. It's like an hour of, yeah, and these guys never even had to kill anybody. You know, that whole image of where the mob boss had to do that's a lie. They would just get us to do all the killings. And what? I'm thinking of Sammy the Bull right now.
Well, like I can picture it though. It's like, so just to be like, just the way though your voice and everything, I can just
like,
see it.
I'm thinking of Sammy the Bull in particular, and he's like, man, I killed this guy, and I killed that guy, and I killed this guy, and I killed that guy.
Nonchalant, like
yeah,
there's no,
just like flat out, like
cyborg.
I swear I watched him give a list of like 10 minutes straight of people he killed, but he already did his time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, didn't you guys give the whole thing about snitching, and then you brought in the snitch guys that you're comparing yourself to? That's what Fat Joe just did here. I've been waiting the whole review to bring that up.
God, this is
so many hoes, lost count on the bodies, hit in jail. I was fucking on the CO. Then I respected him again. I'm like, if I'm in jail, I want to fuck on the CO. Big red, had her hunched on tiptoes, pray to God she ain't pregnant, came hard, blew and took it on. Anyway, I lost interest there. And then there's the chorus again, and then the song's done. And I give it a 4.15 because there were some redeeming moments of interesting, but like most of this album is like, I'm done. I could not listen to this again and I'd be happy.
I gave this a 4.5 because I do like the song, the hype around it, the like everything together again kind of checks off the boxes of why this is hype. Picking it apart now, I'm kind of sitting here like, yeah, y'all just want us to respect you because you're rich, and
it's really, like, really not at all different at all than Plato o Paloma or a lot of these other guys. I don't want to hate on them because like I think that there are people that are probably doing very interesting things in their lives. It's just this style of music, this worship me because I'm better than you crap is boring.
I do want to comment though. I like when Dre goes, wait, I just turned the color of my backyard blue, swimming in the ocean and a pool, lapping these in a game. It ain't a race, it's a marathon. Yeah, I'm living proof. I like that chorus. I like how he's giving you that picture of like,
I guess with the blue line it's probably about Nipsey. Anyway, go on.
Well, probably, but I also kind of took it about the ocean. Like, he's so rich that like now my backyard is just the ocean. So
yeah, all things considered, it's fine. I think the next song is basically the one most people care about on this album, and that's why they paid the money to get the features they did. Let's talk about Lord Above. Once upon a time, there was that song, and it would be like, dur, 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 dur. Stop! It's the motherfucking remix! Dur, 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 dur. And then Eminem shows up, and you're like, Eminem and Mace and Fat Joe? This is such a twipsy-twerpy.
And Eminem bodies the song.
It was one of those flows, right? Anyway, and now Eminem and Fat Joe are finally reunited, along with Dre and Mary J. Blige. Like when you read the list, it's like, wow.
All right, no, I can't anymore. Why is Eminem here?
I liked it.
I didn't.
That's
I
fine.
thought it was pointless. I don't know why he addressed the Eminem, his whole beef with Mary J. just because he's there. I was like,
Mary J. That is a mistake for you to say. He talks about Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon, who is very different than Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
Nobody has beef with Mary J. Blige.
Do they?
Does anyone beef with Mary? Anyway, if Bonnie was here, she'd smack you. I really like this though, because I feel like everybody stepped up for this track. I mean, you don't go on a song with Eminem and not step up your game. And
Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans fought. apparently.
Okay, fine.
According to Royal Rumble.
We cop new timepieces when these fools deny Jesus. Fine, that is a okay line. Hate is a sin. Dog, be real. I got my hands on the pump, which is a Cypress Hill line, but I mean, it's clever because it kind of keeps up the religion bars, but it was whatever. You on Twitter in your feels throwing subs, arguing with chicks. I pray for these people, some hands that I hustle with. And I like that because he kind of then keeps it going. I'm like, that's pretty well done. So you can go snitch and have all your little dramas. I'm going to pray for you, but these are the hands that work and do all the shit I got to do it.
Right.
Respectable, well done. His verse flows through, and I don't know. I think it's cool. He kind of goes from the dinero from zero. So heaven sent immaculate blessings for Mary at Reminisce. So he's kind of appreciating things going on, and even having Mary on this track, it kind of is nice that he shouts her out.
Yep.
On days when we was broke, all we had was some common sense, and I thought that was dope because I believe he's shouting out Common, the rapper, back when he was Common Sense once upon a time, showing a more enlightened version of shit back then.
I'm really enjoying how, in terms of being the Lord above, they're paying homage to a lot of these legendary rappers that we respect as well, giving them that Lord status.
But I just think it's cool that he's like that, in general. Again, just being fresh with it. He woke up in Paris cooking for Hove. I get it, because people in Paris.
Well, last night I had a nightmare. I was at the stove. I woke up in Paris cooking for Hove.
Which is cool because it's like he's so afraid of going back to that last life, but instead he's making the music now.
Right.
Then he thanks the Lord for giving me this life, and even though I gone to music keeping us alive, and I'm like, wow, that's great. And then the awful fucking Outcast thing that he does with that forever, ever, ever, it was not good. But it's cool that he shouts out fucking, what's it called, Miss Jackson. That was nice. Then Mary sounds beautiful. And then Fat Joe comes through, and he's all right. He's not the greatest, but let's be real. Told Montana and the G Chicky Poo in the Porsche is fantastic on a song with Eminem. I think that's just funny to me. The Frank Sinatra of the Spanish mobsters, we the Jimmy Cafe, ain't no need for operas, had the fiend scream hallelujah, fucked it.
Here's my issue.
It's better than his other verses in terms of overall effort, and it sounds better to me.
Here's my issue. We just got Dre, who kind of paid homage to some legendary rappers that we consider and respect and all that stuff. Very creative, very rap history. It was cool. Fat Joe, to me, is kind of I'm king shit.
Yeah, he's been like that the whole album.
But then you have, and this is where I think I might be reaching on my own idea, but Eminem kind of felt like this was just a co-sign.
Eminem yet. We're not there yet. We're still over
I have
here
nothing to say
Fat
about
Joe.
any of this. I'm just trying to comment as much as I can and give my opinion. But
you say you have nothing to say, then you have nothing to say. So his chicks from San Fran, but stay up my Bay Area is a clever line actually, because the Bay Area is San Fran, but before anyone else, I think that's what Bay stands for, because I'm too old to use Bay, so what the fuck,
Yep.
Fat Joe? But stay up my Bay Area. It's almost like, Fat Joe, I don't think that men can just go up to my girlfriend and seduce her like that. I maybe choose a higher quality of woman than you do, Fat Joe. I'm just throwing it out there because, dog, you sound insecure like a motherfucker. Anyway, his verse is aight, and then we get Eminem. This is the last Eminem feature of 2019. Maybe there's more coming, but either way, he's sitting here reminiscing. Think I just got a light bulb. Something I'd like to mention. This is just on a side note. Okay, that was a little bit... I don't know if there's extra puns or bars in there that I'm not missing, but that sounded like filler as far as Eminem goes. Word to the Terror Squad, Joe. This is all puns aside, though, and that was a great fucking line. Because word to the Terror Squad for Fat Joe's group, this is all puns aside, as in big pun.
Yeah.
Oof. So respect like that. I know me and Mariah didn't end on a high note. Okay, him and Mariah didn't. But that other dude's whipped. That pussy got him neutered. Tried to tell him this chick's a nut job before he got his drills clipped. Almost got my caboose kicked. Fool, quit. You not gonna do shit. I let her chop off my balls before I lost to you, Nick. Here's the thing.
Why do we care?
I care. I've been waiting for somebody to do something outside of Nick Cannon in interviews for years. For
why this
years?
track? Why this album? Why this? Where?
Nick Cannon has been talking shit.
I'm not disputing that. I've been watching him talk shit
he
for
threatened
years.
to kick his caboose.
My issue is, you had an album. You have your own things. You have your own. Why are you doing this on the Fat Joe album? Fat Joe and Dre album? What? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Go on.
I'm just saying that of all the things to feel weird about on this album, that's the thing you feel the weirdest about?
Because I feel like, you know what it is? And I think it's just like after kind of going through and really listening to Eminem and kind of getting off that bandwagon, I'm no longer impressed by how he says things and how he can get tricky and supersonic and all this shit.
That's fair.
It's like, what are you actually fucking saying?
That was funny to me. I thought it was great, man, because he just kind of is also laying it down like, Nick, why are you still talking about me all the time? Imagine every time you turn on the news, Nick Cannon was talking about you. Nick Cannon talks about him a lot.
I mean, I understand that, but didn't we get you use for me, win-win for you, lose for me? Like, we already got that on The Ringer. We already got, like, his fucking, okay, we get it.
Yeah, but now he's talking to Nick.
Which Nick is just doing, whatever. Whatever. Go on.
I mean, like, I don't really mind when Eminem wants to go in on somebody in particular. I think that Kamikaze had its issues in terms of being petty sounding because it felt like Eminem was just kind of insecure and whatever. This sounds like Eminem said, fuck it, and I'm going to take a little dump on you. And he did. He just kind of put out flat out that Nick Cannon sounds like a wanky little bitch and moved on from there. My balls are too big. I should be talking pool because I got scratch. And that's a great line because pool balls. And that's what I like about pool. Eminem, man. He's just got great lyrics.
I agree.
So my pocket fall when I'm taking shots at you. Again, keeping up with the pool shit.
Yep.
Fuck it. Let me drop the cue stick. I'm over the top like Cool Whip. Because Cool Whip is what you put on top of dessert.
Yes.
It all rhymes. It's fucking cool, dude. And I promise you today I fall off or lose it, I will stop and cut off the music. Opportunists want to kill shit every chance I got to do this. Fair enough. This time the target is Nick Cannon. And you know what? There are a lot of people happy that this is happening right now. You might not care. I was thrilled. I have seen all sorts of guys in their 30s on my Facebook talking about Nick Cannon got murked. Lots of old men are happy right now. I understand you young lads don't care about Nick Cannon.
Young lads.
You're 7 years younger than me. It's enough to call you a lad in this conversation, youngster.
I'm 6 years.
It's more like 7. That's what it feels like. Maybe it's more like 12. Anyway, only cap that you pop is the top on the can of your pop. And you the man till I pop your top. You ain't jacking the box and I ain't talking the hamburger spot. This actually is pretty fucking great sounding. So let's go through it. So the only cap that you pop is not a gun, but it's like a soda pop like that. You the man till I pop your top, so you feel all good till I finally come through and deflate you, Nick Cannon.
Right.
You ain't jacking a box who pops the fucking top off the shit of the things. And he's not talking about a hamburger spot. He's talking about popping your top off. Cracker with the barrel, because Cracker Barrel makes cheese. Cheese goes on fucking hamburger. Arm to the teeth, because it rhymes well and he's ready to go. Anderson .Paak, yeah. I don't know if Anderson .Paak has a song called Arm to the Teeth, to be completely honest with you, or anything, how he ties into it. That's fine. Because rest in peace to Afeni, Anderson .Paak, and her son Pac, and he's basically saying Anderson .Paak again. And he's saying Anderson .Paak. It was amazing. You sent me that plaque with the rhyme sheet. I haven't forgot. Flow 30 million in a month called Brewster's Millions. I'm like, Brewster's Millions is such a good movie.
Oh.
That's so awesome.
Just to fill in the Anderson .Paak line, Eminem also shouts out Anderson .Paak, who was previously worked with M and Dr. Dre's Medicine Man and the unreleased song off of the Bodied soundtrack. I bodied you, Anderson .Paak, after he bodied Nick. That's cool now. Now that I get it, that's fucking cool. That's
Thank
cool.
you. So blow 30 million in a month called Brewster's Millions. If you have not seen Brewster's Millions, you are missing out. My favorite scene is when he buys the stamp and the guy thinks he lost him and he mails him the thing with the stamp. Go watch Brewster's Millions and you'll get the fucking bar, okay?
Is it old? Is it new?
It is so old that Eminem is living up to his age in a way I can respect. Making some old man shit. Just hope I don't lose the feeling from soldier to civilian. Got everything I need, but I don't even see myself in the future chilling. Only thing I don't have in the booth is ceiling. Just call me the ruthless toothless villain. That's dope because it's toothless and shit.
Oh, it's Richard Pryor.
They telling me the sky's the limit, so I got my head in the clouds. Anyway, it's fucking cool. Then he shouts out Edma and Charles. When his mom kicked him out of the house, they were the bomb. Then he sent me LL, who dropped the bomb. Oh, just fucking cool. And he does the shout out shit, shows appreciation. Honestly, this is the best M verse I've heard of all the features that he's come out with, man. Best M feature. Fucking killed it. Murked Nick Cannon. I hope Nick Cannon gets his caboose kicked. This is really well made, and I give it a 4.5.
3.7.
Well, Chris, we're gonna drive.
If we can just continue driving.
Drive. I got bored again. Like I said, Ty Dolla $ign 99 is the best of these guys as far as my reviewing experience goes.
I don't know. I like Jeremih on this
I do
track
not.
more
I
than
think
Ty.
Jeremih sounds like
I
Ty
hate
Dolla
Ty.
$ign light. Either way, it's like whatever, girl shit. Fat Joe comes in, my pretty woman with the Himalayans and bigger chains and boogers in them, and we be on the yachts that we don't post. I'm like, wait a second. He was doing some tricky shit there. Okay, it's slow, but if you were to speed that up, you're getting some old Fat Joe. And then he goes, cause we did. Now, if it was what I wanted, it would be like, cause we did Italy, then the Philippines beat it, Billie Jean gave it the bigger dimami. That would be like what you expect from Fat Joe,
Right.
if you know what I want.
Right.
But if you slow it down, cause we did Italy, then the Philippines beat it, Billie Jean gave her bigger dimami, Vanity, rock and roll like Molly Bay. I'm like, okay, imagine that turned up and like the verse was 3 times as long.
Right.
That would be hype. Anyway, overall, I kind of appreciated his flow on this, and it felt like reminiscent of back when he had talent, and I really appreciated that. I do think you're a little old to be doing Molly and Viagra, but then again, maybe if I was rich in my late 40s, I'd do Molly and Viagra too. I can't tell you I wouldn't be. Dre does his verse, and it's alright. It's more on the generic, I'm a fuck ladies, but I like that, you know, you gotta be a rider though, my people real protective, you know, we don't hit so many bitches, turn a couple into X's,
But I like that from
and
Dre.
it made me
how
feel
he's-
like you should use a condom.
But I like how Dre is kind of addressing that you have to be kind of like a certain type of woman to be with him. Like, you have to really be down for him and what he does, and not saying like you gotta, doesn't sound like he's asking you to change for him or whatnot or abide by rules or shit like that, but it's like, this is what I'm doing, this is what's making our life what it is. If you want to be part of it,
So
you
every
gotta
other
rock.
fucking song, I swear we could copy what you said into like 15 other reviews when we talk about generic pop rap, and you say it every time because that's how generic it is. Jeremih says nothing interesting, and
Let's talk about Dre though.
Dre does. Oh, Dre.
That
Yeah,
was
we were
literally-
just talking about Dre, in my opinion.
Literally what I was just talking about.
Yeah, and I said that we were done. I thought we were finished with him. He sounds
Okay.
fine, and then we move on.
Never mind, go on.
Because what else is there to say about a generic?
I understood that
Fuck a
the
girl
copy
verse.
paste was for
No,
Jeremih.
literally, it's what you just said.
Yes,
about
the copy
Dre.
paste from what I'm saying.
About Dre. I thought that was funny because you said it in like so many other reviews exactly the same. That was my point. Generic. Jeremih, I just want to feel what you feel, baby. You want to feel a dick inside of you? I just want to feel something real, baby. A real dick inside you? That's like where I'm at with this song. I'm already done with it. It's fine. I'm looking at the lyrics. He's going to be your genie and grant your wishes. Like, I haven't heard that from a whole lot of other generic fuckers. Like, everything about this is first class boring. And I'm sad because I was actually kind of enthused with the last song. It's so well made, boring. 4 on 5.
4 on 5.
Let's talk about how the Martian shows up. That's right, Wheezy himself. Pullin. This is a weird fucking song that I like and don't like at the exact same time. But it's in the higher end of this album. Like, if there were 3 songs to listen to, in my opinion, off the jump, it would be Heaven and Hell, the one with Eminem, and this one. This one where just it starts off strong, and the way it flows in from the last song, it's all vibing, and then it's pulling out garages, broads, and credit cards, dodging all charges, clout chasers, and frauds. We are not the same. I am a Martian, Martian. Bitches like, hey, let's get it on. And you're like, what? And then literally, Let's Get It On starts playing Coca. You're like, shut up, Fat Joe. And then we keep going. Joe Crack been slipping the Fed since the 80s. I mean, I guess he's had some issues. Moving that white boy, yeah, that Slim Shady. Really? Okay, fine. That's fine. Because it's like moving that white boy, you know? Yeah, that Slim Shady, white boy. Okay, fine. Pushing that D like Terry Flannery. Uncle Drew with the rock, they couldn't handle me. You people buying Dapper Dan at the Gucci store. I was in Harlan dripping Dap serving Pookie Raw. Okay, fine. It's cool. He does his thing. And it sounds harder and it sounds a little better. It does than a lot of his other performances.
So drowned out.
But like he doesn't really add a lot to it.
Yeah.
Dre's cool. He's still bumping Mike Jack Thriller. Put on that gang on the Man in the Mirror. That's cool because Michael Jackson does those albums, and it's fine. I like how he also shows up. I kind of like the part where he says people coming out of jail and then the feds are ghostwriting their life, kind of implying that these people are just kind of snitching out and having other people getting them to sign papers, false confessions and crap. That was still kind of cool because it felt a little real. He fucks models and rolls with mobsters and cooks up beats like that doctor straight out of Compton, the one that I mistook him for at the start of this. Anyway. So I like the fact that he does compare himself to Dr. Dre, and let's be real, it's a pretty good beat. It's just weird. And then you're listening to it, and the first time I listened to it, I was only on the track list, so I just heard this voice come through, and I'm like, is that Wayne? And then it was Wayne. I'm with several incredible bitches that's ready to do what I'm telling them to do, and that includes even beheading you. And I like how Lil Wayne empowers women to commit murder, and I say that sincerely. Having bad bitches that are actually bad enough to take you out is cooler than just whatever. It's actually cool to me. I never knew how much you never knew of what you never knew is a terrible line, but fine. We know he makes his shit up on the spot. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. I'm from the jungle, not the petting zoo, and you look edible. Silence around the clock because I'm trying to hold the noise. And I'm like, man, you sound way harder than Fat Joe. You can hear a pin drop without hearing the bowling balls, and the truth is hard to swallow, but not from a hoe at all, because his semen that comes out of his dick is the fucking truth. Alright, that's what we just learned from Lil Wayne. Anyway, I liked it more than the other ones. It's short, sweet. Wayne actually got in the music video and shit. There's more girls with asses and stuff. And it looks like a bunch of old guys trying to recreate the younger years and then Wayne making the song sound good. Well, let's just say the old guys part is for Fat Joe and the other two are alright. 4.35.
Yeah, it's literally that. This came on and I was like, this sounds like everything from All I Do Is Win to I'm $100 million to Welcome to My Hood to anything that I grew up with. This is basically what it brought me back to. I do appreciate like Wayne still kicking and keeping it up the way he does. Like that's really dope. But I'll be honest, like
Wayne is fire.
At this point, I'm kind of just like, I'm over this.
Yeah, the album's not that great.
I'm over this.
However, Wayne's verse was good. Don't shit on Wayne.
No, I'm not shitting on Wayne at all. I'm not shitting on Wayne at all.
What did you give this song? What did you?
4 on 5.
Awesome.
4 on 5. It's a good track.
It sounds like.
Sorry if I'm enthusiastic at this point.
No one's enthusiastic except for the fans. All right, it's deep how much I'm not into this album. The music video is trash. It's a garbage music video.
I like the music video a lot more than I like the song.
Fat Joe is trying to be all theatrical, and his girl cheats on him, so he walks in and he kills them, and blah, blah, blah,
so
blah, blah,
let's be clear: the acting, and everything is probably not the greatest.
Therefore, it's trash.
But I like this
and they have
concept
sex with underwear on.
I like this.
How do you have sex with underwear on like that? Nobody fucks like that.
They're starting. She took off her bra.
No, they were like, she was riding him.
No.
She was like up and downing him.
No, she wasn't.
I'm telling you.
Who? Fat Joe or the other dude?
Other dude when Fat Joe walked in.
No.
And then she was going up and down and shit. And then Fat Joe walks.
Yes. She took off her bra for Fat Joe. You're right.
All I'm saying is, ladies here, like, that everyone's wearing underwear, and I get that that's what you do in the movies, but it just kills the vibe, man.
Well, no, they're starting.
Fuck out of here.
You know, she just brought him home. She's like caressing him and sitting on top of him, trying to get him on the mood. And then when he's ready, he's gonna be like, yeah.
No, they were supposed to be simulating the sex, but it's cheap movie shit, and Fat Joe can't actually be fucking these women in a music video.
So,
It's
I
not.
like the music video, and the way I kind of looked at it was Fat Joe is expressing his paranoia and fear of what he deals with in his head or in his nightmares and dreams and a bunch of shit with maybe the women he interacts with, his girlfriend, his wife, I don't know, whatever. And I liked it. I just liked, I guess, the creative artisticness from it. It's not the greatest fucking thing, to be clear. It's like really choppy, and like everyone just seems so like, okay, say your line now, say your line now. Okay, like there's no natural feeling to it. It doesn't really whatever, but I like what I guess I enjoy what he's trying to present. Listen, his wife, he caught his wife with his best friend. That's it. That's the song. And then he kills his best friend. Or doesn't. I don't know. I turned it off halfway through. I no longer cared. I watched the video and went, all right, now I know. I apologize, as a reviewer, I should, but I did not give a shit. I listened to a bunch of music from him.
Joe goes, I took this bitch to the Amalfi Coast, back to Mexico, packed her bags like vamonos. Used to play the jacks, used to serve some drinks. Now she drip brony with the Persian mix. So he took the poor chick out the hood. I do want to point out that he kind of talks about her being like courtside at one point. In the second verse, he's like, I had you at them height games in the seats, man. You'd be like, well, you could trip a referee, babe. I'm like, ma, you gotta chill, pick that back up the floor, bitch, act like you been here before. And again, it sounds like Fat Joe is not an effective partner. Like, coach the lady before you get there about how to behave appropriately. Don't just bring a girl from the hood into rich life and expect her to understand. Like, come on, dude, you sound terrible as a person. You sound like I don't mean it like that. Because honestly, you listen to Remy Ma talk about Fat Joe on State of the Culture, and he sounds like a really awesome guy doing a lot of amazing things as a human. The guy he's presenting on this album sounds not great to me. I digress. It's just another fine verse. I do think Fat Joe's performance is pretty good comparative to the other songs that we've been listening to. So it feels like he tries a little harder. The chorus is nice it has a good like flow to it. I still think Dolla does the best chorus on the album from the singing side. I'm giving this a 4.15. I get what you're saying, but it's all right. This is, at least there was like a narrative to it, and you get the sense that Fat Joe trusted this good girl that he brought out the hood from desperate circumstances, who maybe failed to adhere to his harsh rules of fuck me and you get money.
As he starts off this album with, forgive me, I'm a person from the hood. This is what I have the mentality of.
Chris, why are you looking for depth in a Fat Joe album?
I'm just saying.
Anyway, all I'm trying to say is the song is fine. That's it. I don't have more to say. Like, this is not a... There's like 3 songs on this album I think are actually kind of good. Like, I say that, like, I don't really see myself re-listening to them. I just kind of feel they have some vibe to them or something to it. Like, I would still listen to All the Way Up. Like, All the Way Up is one of those banger-ass fucking songs that get stuck in your head and you can't help but really like it. And there was nothing like that on this album, right? Like, nothing. The Eminem feature is cool because it was cool if you were into watching him disseminate Nick Cannon like I was. Or apparently Chris found it annoying, and I guess I get that too. Like, this album is a 4.17 to me. It is possibly the lowest album grade I've given in like 6 months, because this is one of the least impressive albums I've listened to this entire year as far as a reviewing concern is done. And maybe that's on me. Maybe we should have just done Triple XXXTentacion's album, or maybe we should have done somebody else. I want to talk about Czarface, but I'm waiting for the lyrics to come up because I don't really have a lot of time to transcribe them all for myself this weekend. And that would have been a lot more fun because that album was hilarious. So if you really want a good album, check out the Czarface album. It cracked me up. It's got some fun themes and great production. And wow, that's how little I care about this album, is that I'm already promoting another album in place of talking about my overall feelings. Like, seriously, this Fat Joe Dre album just feels like 2 has-beens trying to get some actual cash in, which is sad to say because Dre had some impressive moments on this project and the production is extremely well made, but the shit didn't represent anything. It didn't stand for anything. It was vapid and airy in an era where 21-year-olds are making much better vapid and airy music. So I guess that's where I'm at with it. Check out Czarface's album.
Album got a 4.07 on 5. I don't really know what to say about it because I left this project going, thank God it's over. It's okay. It's what it is. If you like Fat Joe, you'll like it. If you like Dre, you'll like it. If you like everything from 2005 to about 2010, and I'm only using those times because of like my experiences on when I was listening to these people, then yeah, you'll probably like this project. If you like anything before or after those years, you may not enjoy it. That's all I have to say.
I don't think anybody that watches this channel is probably going to enjoy it, and I think we effectively pissed off all the Fat Joe and Dre fans that do like it. So
let us know in the comments down below.
Honestly, I'm curious to know how you feel. I try to just be honest with it, so hopefully y'all found it a little funny or something. But all respect to the fact, though, that these men are still at it and that they put in the time, because I do think Fat Joe, back in his earlier work, is truly divine. Like the Don Cartagena era and crap like that, but that's not where we're at today, and it's not really cool to glorify a bunch of shitty mobsters. That's all I'm saying. We're past that point in life, and I guess I just kind of hoped to see a little bit better out of it. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments as we do. You're definitely going to hear the noise of Chris's computer getting all spinny here, which hopefully wasn't too prominent in this episode. We appreciate you. Like I said, if you do leave that comment, I'll make an effort to answer you. You can hit that like button if you liked the video. You can hit that subscribe button for more content. Before we leave, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks, and Scribble. That's right, there's a whole new name, and you could also be another whole new name and joining us there, because there's things we want to buy that are expensive, like lighting. That's about 150 Canadian dollars to get like a decent starter set. I want to get some cool sound isolation foam panels. That's about another, I don't know, 200, 150 bucks out of whatever. And then there's the materials to stick it. And then, we want to get rid of this table and get a nicer looking setup, maybe some more comfier couch. I'm just trying to explain what's going on. And in exchange, you can tell us what albums you want to see us review. And that would be cool. And then we'll do that for you.
We do appreciate it, guys.
And we
honestly,
totally
thank
make
you
music
so much.
as well, and you can check that out on this channel and other places. Don't you want to see it looking nicer? That's all I'm trying to say. We make music. You can check that out. Holden, Stephan, Roy, The Alternative Grind, and it's on Spotify and everything else, so you can check that out. Let me know what you
Chris
think.
Chrome.
He's on track 3. Somebody wrote the comment, damn, Chris Chrome can spit. In case you want to see if that's true, it's called Hurricane.
I'm working on my album.
Anyway,
it's coming.
Thank y'all for watching. Live long and prosper, everyone.